Ugly, right? Well, we're gonna fix that today on Flip and Customize, because on our food truck build, that's next. We're gonna move this truck so we can get it where we can take the wheels off, pull the front wheels off to start with. We're not gonna touch the back yet because we got a proof concept that the owner is gonna like this. Steve is gonna like our look, and basically what the look we're gonna achieve with this is the outside of the rim is the only thing you're gonna see. So that's the only thing we're gonna focus on. We're actually gonna be weathering the front wheels. Let me show you. Remember Project on a Dime, we weathered a set of Dodge Charger wheels, 17-inch on our little white S10 there, and I'll show you in a minute how they came out. They came out really, really, really awesome, and Steve really liked it, and it worked. I think it's gonna work really well with this food truck build. Being the rat rod and barbecue rough look, it's all blacked out. Excuse me, it's gonna be continued to get blacked out. We're doing one section at a time, but the wheels, basically we're gonna be layering 3 layers of paint, rattle can paint. After we clean them up, we pressure wash them. It's basically be a brown, a black, and I think a silver. I don't know. I'll let me check the back and see what he's got for colors. But anyway, the majority of the color is going to be black, and then we're going to sand through the wheels after they're painted and get that worn, weathered look. And again, I'll show you what one's going to look like. So kind of today we'll take you through how we're going to do that. And then after all that, we're going to seal it in with some Poppy's Patina clear. And honestly, you got to be careful when you spray a clear coat over rattle cans because you get wrinkling. However, what I discovered, we actually like that look on these weathered wheels. So we're kind of going to try to wrinkle them a little bit as well. Guys, I just wanted to kind of take you in here, and those of you who have not seen our Project on a Dime, our S10 build we did, where we actually weathered the wheels on this truck too. Again, the top coat being white, and then we clear coated to get a wrinkled finish on top of sanding through and wearing through the layers of paint to get the different looks. So there's no rhyme or reason, there's no rule to it. It's random spots of sanding to what you like and what you want to see. So that's what we're gonna do on the food truck rims. All right, now I got this behemoth backed in here and jacked up on our stone dust. Hopefully the jack stand don't sink in too badly, and that my impact will take these damn lug nuts off. This is a beast. Let me get them off. We'll get them up and get them washed. All right, well, we're about to find out 3 things. 1, how strong this impact gun is. 2, how tight Steve put these on. And 3, how good this piece of crap socket is. So let's try it. Well, oh my, he even anti-sees them, Steve. You are the man. That guy. All right, good news, wheels are off, jack stand's held, and the impact gun worked. But I just want to take a minute to kind of show you guys, although our builds, a lot of them are ratty and ratty rat rod looking, everything I can assure you underneath and in the chassis and suspension drivetrain is done right. Everything on the front end of this truck is new, and I mean brand new. Steve took it down to the frame, repainted it, new upper control arms, ball joints, tie rod ends, shocks, you name it, it has been done to this truck. And that's what matters, because at the end of the day, when this thing's on the road and he's out there making money with it, it's got to be reliable too. So that's what we do. See, we can't find the paint. Here it is. So basically we have, it's all Krylon. We have a metallic silver. We have a satin espresso. It's kind of a dark brown color. And then the top coat is the gloss black. So basically we're going to lay down, I think we're doing the silver first, then the brown, then the, no, excuse me, we're going to do brown first, then the silver, and then top coat with black. So we have 3, and then a clear over all of that. All right, so with that being said, like our door, let's get these things pressure washed. I mean, these are the back sides we're not painting, but you can see how dirty these are. So we're at least going to wash the back sides so we can get ready for some paint. They're dirty. Get them clean. And as you can see, we're using some of the wheel cleaner by Super Clean, an affordable product that actually works really well. Spray it on, it's kind of foaming. You let it soak on there a few minutes, and then you go ahead and agitate it with a brush, which we're going to do, and flip the wheel over and repeat on the other side. And it does work well. All right, well, that cleaned them up pretty darn good compared to what they were. And considering it's the backside and you're never going to see it, it ain't that bad. All right, guys, here we go. They're all dry now. It's the next day. A better look at the paint. We got satin espresso. We got the gloss black. That's going to be the outermost layer, followed by the aluminum, metallic aluminum, and then the brown inside to kind of layer out that wheel. as far as we go. I think that's the direction I'm gonna go. Either way, the gloss black's on the very outside. So now I gotta hit it with some Scotch-Brite and scuff it up. And then we're gonna break the bead on this side to make it a lot easier to go ahead and tuck plastic under there so we can paint this side of the wheel. And then I get to take out my fancy little rotary wheel painter. All right, Steve picked up a couple of boxes. We got the coarse grit and then a fine grit scuff pad. So I'll quickly hit them with the, it's all just hand working, and you don't have to be super fancy. That's the beauty of this type of paint job, this weathered look, is you can't really go wrong. At the end of the day, you want it to look good, but we got this. So, all right, all prepped, pretty sore hand. This is all hand working because it's just hard to get to. We'll break the DA sander out a little bit when we start wearing through the paint layers, but still there's some hand work there as well. But we got them both ready. I'm gonna break down the beads now, blow them off, hit them with some grease and wax remover, and we start putting that paint to it. Here it is. Here's our paint turntable. That's right, you're seeing right. It is straight up an old water pump with a block of wood screwed to it, and you can set your wheel up here, and then you can paint it and rotate it and everything as you want. And you kind of screw this down to a base plate or a couple of boards on a rolling table, whatever you want. So, hey, if it works, it works. It ain't stupid. All right, change of plans. I took the tire off. Well, because part of it, the valve stem fell inside the tire, so I had to take half it off to get the valve stem out. Anyway, we have a tire machine. I'm like, why are you going through all that work putting the plastic on it when you can just take tire machine? And we can also clean up this where the bead's going to seat as well with a wire wheel. So it just did a little easier way to do it. Ultimately, we're just painting the outside, but whatever. All right, we're finally ready to start painting. We hit it with our Poppy's grease and wax remover. You could use any grease and wax remover. We actually like the product a lot. We use a lot of that product. And as far as the colors go, again, we got silver, brown, and a gloss black top. And then we sand through them all. And naturally, there's white on here too. So that's actually another color to this depth. And there's no rhyme or reason, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. But what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go with the silver first. I'm gonna probably give it a once over with the silver, and then brown it in probably certain areas, and then black all over a couple coats. So what we'll do is I'll start with the silver here, and then I will let that sit probably 20 minutes, half an hour. Then we'll go to the brown, and then repeat again for the black. So we'll start with the silver. It's actually a really nice metallic-y, like a nice finish OEM silver. Honestly, if you were thinking of a wheel color, this wouldn't be bad. But the beauty of this, we're gonna keep covering it up. So nothing has to be perfect with this paint job because, well, it's gonna match the whole theme of the truck. So we're gonna let this sit and we're gonna hit it with the next color. Here we go. And I know, right? Oh my God, you're painting it brown and it's random. Yep, it is random. It doesn't need to be complete. It doesn't need to be, it can be patchy. That's the idea behind it. It's just that. Let it be patchy. You're gonna run. It's not the end of the world. My timer's going off. That's okay. Because guess what? The look of this, there's no rules. All right, there we have it. The brown espresso and the silver are dry. Now it's time to move on to our gloss black. Now this will be our final coat. This is ultimately the overall color of the wheel. So we're gonna want like an overarching black, right? So we want this to look like the wheel is supposed to be black overall with just some browns and silvers and a little bit of white showing through. So what I'm gonna do in order to achieve that is I'm gonna lay 2 coats on this thing. It lays on quite nice. And so about 20 minutes between a coat, just to ensure we have some good dry time between these coats. And then we'll let that dry before we start our sanding process. And that's gonna be at least a day in the sun. All right guys, it's been a couple days, so the paint's really set up and cured nicely. And honestly, for a rattle can, those came out really, really good. If you wanted a gloss black rim, I guess I would really recommend that. But, well, we don't just want gloss black. So now we're gonna sand them. Randomly sand them. So we got our 150 grit, we got some 220 grit, we got our orbital sander, and like I said when I showed you in the S10 rims, you just kind of set it up here and you kind of randomly sand with the 2 different grit papers back and forth until you get the look that you want on each rim. And no 2 rims are going to look the same, which is perfect because we want that weathered look. Oh, and it's Sunday, so guess what? Dress down day. Not really, it's always dress down day. You do what you gotta do because, well, it's hot in here. As far as hitting the wheel with sandpaper, honestly, from my experience of doing this for a couple of different times now, hitting it with the rougher grit, the 150 grit first, it tends to yield better results, and then you can kind of feather that out a little bit with the 220, and that's typically all I do, and then clear coat it to seal that all in. So we get the 150 loaded up, and I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding that. All right, here we go. That's the gist of it. Basically 220, 150 grit, kind of random, different areas, different thickness, different depths. You kind of pull the whites, the silvers, the browns, dull out some of the blacks, kind of give this wheel that weathered look. So I think we've achieved that as of right now. And then now basically we'll let it dry another day because we've exposed, you know, fairly fresh layers of paint, and we're gonna hit it with some Poppy's Patina clear. I gotta talk to Steve and see if we're doing a matte or a gloss clear over this. All right, guys, see that sky behind me? It's gonna open up again because it's all it does here this summer is rain. But in the meantime, it's super hot. It is just starting to sprinkle, but I wanted to get these things out here in the sun to kind of show you that weathered look. And I think they're gonna match the theme of that food truck just perfectly. And of course, we'll have to do the rears as well. Now I'm gonna let these dry, you know, because we exposed some new layers of paint, another day. Then we're gonna hit them with the Poppy's clear. All right, guys, it's now the next day, which I think brings us to day 3 on painting these wheels. No, that's not all we do, but it's a process. What can I say? It's a process. So the wheels have now been sanded, and they've been sitting, again, this is fairly fresh paint, spray paint at that, so they've been sitting another day. We're gonna be using the product from Poppy's Patina. It's their matte finish wipe on clear. So that's actually gonna take some of the shine out of that high gloss black. You mix this 8 parts to 1. So that's there, and you can get, they have gloss as well, and I believe if you combine the gloss and the matte, you will end up with like a satin finish. We did that on our project on a dime. But basically 8 parts of this to 1 part of catalyst, and that gives it the chemical resistance you want. Now, when you order their kit, they give you everything you need to apply this stuff, and you can apply it by wiping it on. However, if you use single part paint like spray paints, for instance, it is recommended that you use the spray method and you go lightly. However, you may end up with some wrinkling because that's just an inherent characteristic of spray paint when you hit it with like an automotive type 2-part clear on top of it. So it's possible this will wrinkle. All right, take 3, once for the GoPro, 2 because I can't talk. However, here we go. An inherent characteristic of spray paint when you hit it with an automotive type clear, like a mixed product like the Poppy's Patina or any other clear, you can get some wrinkling that'll happen. However, that is exactly what we did on Project on a Dime. We actually got that wrinkled finish, and it looked absolutely fantastic. That wasn't the original intent of these. However, it may happen. We'll go light. We've done everything we could do. And if we do get some wrinkling, we are prepared for it. It is not necessarily the problem with the product. It's just what happens when you hit over spray paint, and especially fairly fresh spray paint. This is what, 3 days old now? 4 days old maybe? So we're gonna go ahead and mix it up. Again, we're not wiping it, we're gonna spray it. We got our HVLP gun here set to 35 pounds. And we're gonna do probably 2 light coats on it. All right, we're all mixed up. We did 8 ounces of the clear and 1 ounce of the catalyst. That's your 8-to-1 ratio. And now we're gonna load her up in our spray gun at 35 pounds, adjust our fan spray and our fluid control, and give these wheels a coat. All right, here we go. And we're just doing some light coats on this because, well, you don't want it to be on too heavy and cause wrinkling, well, immediately. All right, guys, there is coat 1. They both have 1 good coat on them. It is an awful lot of work to set that whole paint gun up for 2 little wheels, but it is what it is. If you're gonna get wrinkling, it's gonna start where you broke through the layers of paint. So we'll give it like I said, about 20 minutes before we hit it with another coat. We'll know at that point if it's gonna wrinkle, and then if it starts to wrinkle, it's gonna get even worse when you do the second coat. However, I'm not minding that look at all, so we'll see where it goes. So let it sit and we'll get back to it. And this is a great time, you guys, to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button to follow along with the food truck build. Oh yeah, our F600 that's coming with the Cummins swap that's hiding around the corner. We have our Project on a Dime, all of our other builds, as well as another S10 that we have not named yet, and I started a while ago, and that's the 91 LS swapped S10. So hit that like and subscribe. Let's build them together. All right, guys, we have now got 2 coats of the Poppy's Patina clear over these weathered wheels for the food truck, and we're gonna let this set up now for about 24 hours. Let this cure up, and kind of satin down a little bit as far as that sheen goes. And then we'll be able to get tires mounted on it and back on the truck. All right, guys. So these have been sitting all week, drying. So they're completely done. It's actually sprinkling out a little bit right now, but they're all done. They're all dry. Super happy with how they came out. I did, however, make a mistake thinking I was spraying the matte clear. It's actually the gloss, but we're okay with it. So as long as we're consistent and it's going to be on the back, then we're good. So kudos to Poppy's Patina, because the stuff is still fantastic. It's just make sure you grab the right can. However, this is going to be one badass looking truck. So now we're going to put new valve stems in it. We're going to get the front tires mounted back on there, some balancing beads in there, and back on the truck. Steve's got some custom lug nuts coming forward as well. So we're almost ready to put these on. Oh, there we go. We got the rubber back on there, and they are looking pretty sweet. Yes, they're not new rubber, but the tires are in decent shape, so he's gonna run those. So obviously he's on a budget on this. It's a new business starting out, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna love them. I think we'll wait to put him on until he gets here, and actually he's bringing the spiked lug nuts, so we'll leave him right here until he gets here, get his reaction, and get him on the truck. All right, so good news. Steve loves the wheels, absolutely loves them. But the fancy lug nuts he's got coming, the spike lug nuts, won't be here till Monday. And we do want to move the food truck tomorrow. So we're going to put it on with just some 4 of regular lug nuts as far as that goes there. So we can at least see what it looks like on the truck too, minus the spike lug nuts. All right, there they are, guys. She rolling on them now. Oh, baby, that looks nice. Minus the lug nuts. And we haven't decided on the hubs. We leave it rusty. Do we not? I don't know. But remember, the patina, rat rod, blacked out look of the truck, we're digging them. All right, guys, that'll bring us to the end of this episode where we took the food truck wheels and we weathered them. So we made them look old, kind of, to kind of match that theme with the truck. So hopefully you got a few tips and tricks along the way. You got any questions, feel free to drop a comment. Thanks for watching. Scott from Flip and Customized.